G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website and YouTube channel Kangaroo Court of Australia. Now, it's been 4 years since the government set up the Office of the Special Investigator to investigate war crimes or alleged war crimes by Australian soldiers in Afghanistan. So far, they've arrested one person and charged one person. I'm going to publish an article on my website, Kangaroo Court of Australia, on Sunday the 8th of December. And the article's titled Australian Government Cover-Up of Afghanistan War Crimes Shifts Up a Gear. And it starts off, the Australian government has stepped up its attempt to cover up alleged war crimes by Australian soldiers, and in the last week dropped potential charges in two matters. The government's cover-up attempt was almost certainly designed to avoid the International Criminal Court from investigating and prosecuting the cases, because if the International Criminal Court did investigate and prosecute the alleged war crimes, it would have meant the Australian government had no control, and senior Defence Force officers might have also faced charges. The International Criminal Court is the same court that recently investigated and issued arrest warrants, as reported by the ABC on the 23rd of November 2024. The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu, his former Defence Minister Yoav Gallant, and one of the last remaining Hamas leaders, Mohammed Deif, who might already be dead. The warrants for the Israeli leaders were issued for crimes against humanity and war crimes that the court found reasonable grounds to believe they bore criminal responsibility for. The Sydney Morning Herald published an article on the 30th of November 2024 titled Absolutely Gutted, Cases Dropped Against Soldiers Over Notorious War Crimes Allegations, which starts off, next, soldiers suspected of committing one of the most notorious alleged war crimes involving Australian Special Forces in Afghanistan will never face justice after an elite investigation agency concluded its case was too weak to put before a jury. The Office of the Special Investigator has told witnesses it will not charge the former Special Air Service Regiment sergeant suspected of brutally murdering an injured and unarmed Afghan farmer. It is a decision that has shattered the Australian Army medic who exposed the alleged crime and agreed to testify against the accused man. It also highlights the failure of the OSI to achieve results almost 4 years after it was created by the Morrison government to investigate the Brereton Inquiry's findings that at least 39 Afghans may have been executed by about 24 Special Forces soldiers. Since its formation in early 2021, the OSI has charged only one ex-SAS soldier. In November, the OSI advised witnesses assisting in two separate major war crimes investigations that neither would proceed to prosecution based on an internal legal advice. Witnesses had agreed to participate in the process, often at great personal and professional cost. The start of the cover-up. I published an article in April 2021 titled Mark Weinberg, QC, the corrupt former judge appointed by Scott Morrison to cover up Australia's alleged war crimes, which starts off, Mark Weinberg QC believes some people, such as judges, are above the law and accountability. And I know this for a fact because it was filmed on video in 2017 in court saying as much as per below. He is also the person appointed by Scott Morrison government to cover up alleged war crimes in Afghanistan committed by Australian troops. I published an article in June 2017 about Mark Weinberg titled Australian Judges Attack Political Free Speech, Try to Cover Up Judicial Corruption, and wrote, the Supreme Court reserved its decision on whether or not to proceed with contempt of court charges against federal MPs, Health Minister Greg Hunt, Human Services Minister Alan Tudge, and Assistant Treasurer Michael Sukar. Judicial bribery was also raised in court on Friday and implied it should not be reported in the media, which is amazingly brazen in an attempt to cover up judicial corruption. The journalist and the Australian newspaper are also potentially facing contempt charges, and they were represented in court by a barrister named Mr Horton on Friday for the contempt of court committal hearing. Justice Weinberg asked Mr Horton whether the Australian would have published a story where judges were alleged to have been bribed and were corrupt. It would depend on the context, he answered. Is that a serious answer? The judge responded. Why would a judge ask a question about media reporting judicial bribery and then say, is that a serious answer, when he got a response he didn't like? Of course the media should report judicial bribery. Fairfax Media and the ABC's Four Corners reported in 2015 that the Australian mafia bribed New South Wales judges $2.2 million. Was Justice Weinberg suggesting judicial bribery like that shouldn't be reported? From what he said, it seems so. Below is a video of Justice Mark Weinberg trying to intimidate the News Corp barrister about reporting judicial corruption, and I'll show you that video now.
Supposing one of the Commonwealth ministers in a different case had said that the members of the court had all been bribed, were all corrupt, would you publish that?
It would depend upon the circumstances, and it would depend
That's a serious answer.
It's a serious answer. It would depend on the circumstances.
That's your best answer.
It would depend on the context.
Mark Weinberg is also the former Victorian Appeal Court judge who found George Powell not guilty, which some might say was supported by the High Court judgment. But the High Court did not support Mark Weinberg's reasonings and came up with their own arrogant and ignorant reasoning in that they, in effect, found juries a waste of time and can't be relied on. Whatever the case, if you wanted to get to the truth in the alleged war crimes, Mark Weinberg is the last person you'd want as a newly appointed special investigator to examine the findings of the Brereton inquiry into the alleged Afghanistan war crimes. The cover-up to protect people at the top. Australia's Brereton report tried to blatantly cover up war crimes, charges against senior ADF soldiers, until it was exposed by another government report. I published an article in May 2024 titled Corrupt NAC Commissioner Paul Brereton Exposed Protecting His Mates in the ADF, including Governor-General David Hurley, from war crimes, which starts off, National Anti-Corruption Commissioner Paul Brereton headed up the Brereton inquiry into war crimes by Australian soldiers in Afghanistan, with Brereton finding that some responsibility for the murder of 39 Afghan prisoners and civilians could not fall on the most senior officers. And the article goes on to say, a report by the Afghanistan Inquiry Implementation Oversight Panel was only released on Thursday, the 16th of May 2024, and the ABC reported, the Afghanistan panel suggests military top brass be held accountable for command failures over alleged war crimes. Serving and former defence chiefs, including Governor-General David Hurley, are facing fresh calls to take responsibility for command failures, which may have led to alleged war crimes in Afghanistan under their watch. A report from an independent panel appointed to oversee the landmark Brereton inquiry has finally been released, warning that the lack of accountability from Australia's top military brass has generated anger and bitter resentment among troops and veterans. And I go on to say, trying to protect people at the top was the first step. Now the government is trying to protect the people at the bottom. If any of them go down, potentially they all go down. I can't comment much on the 2 cases dropped in the last week, as reported by the SMH above, but we have all seen a lot of the evidence of war crimes, and the fact that after 4 years only one person has been charged is powerful support for a cover-up allegation. This will be a growing story next year as they are likely to drop more charges, so I'll keep following up. Now, that article will be published on my website, Kangaroo Court of Australia, on Sunday, the 8th of December 2024, so make sure you visit that and you read the article and click on the links with further information. And we're leading up to Christmas now, so only a few weeks away, so make sure you buy a Kangaroo Court of Australia T-shirt, great value, great for a Christmas present. And please hit the like and subscribe button and notification button. Please share this video on social media. In Kangaroo Court of Australia's independent media, I publish a website and a YouTube channel. And I'm 100% crowdfunded from viewers like yourself, so please support my PayPal account or Patreon account. You can donate any amount, $3, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50 a month, whatever suits your budget. It all helps out in a big way. And the link for the PayPal account and Patreon account will be below this video on YouTube. And also there's a link there for the donation page on my website with other donation options. And you can also do one-off donations. Other than that, thank you for your time and have a good day.